All right, guys, welcome back. So Hogwarts Legacy just got its biggest update yet, and we're going to go over everything that was in that update. We got a brand new mode to talk about, as well as a new cosmetic gear set and a ton of additional fixes. So whether that's falling out of the world or missing field guide pages, this update delivered a lot of good stuff. There was over 500 additional fixes that were added to the game, as well as just general optimization and performance issues that should alleviate some crashes in the game if you do experience those. We're also going to talk about this game amassing over $1 billion in revenue, which is a ton of money, especially considering the Xbox One and PS4 versions just released. Starting things off with our first thing that was added to the game is something that you can get right now by going to Twitch and watching any Hogwarts Legacy creator from May 5th all the way to June 1st. And the reward you get is the Professor Ronan cosmetic set. So if you want to unlock these rewards, all you have to do is watch a streamer playing Hogwarts Legacy with Twitch drops enabled on Twitch for at least 30 minutes, and there's 30 minutes per reward. So once you've earned a reward in your Twitch inventory, claim the reward, go to the connection page for the WB Games account site and connect your Twitch account to your WB Games profile, and the items will be unlocked right after you log into the game. If you're on it right now, restart the game and you should have those rewards unlocked. So the cosmetic items are as followed: the Charms Professor spectacles, the Professor gloves, the Charms Professor outfit, the Professor Ronan robe, the scarf, and of course the Charms Professor tasseled kufi. Now, before we get into all of the awesome changes and updates added to the game, I'd like to go into one thing that has still not been updated as a way to kind of amplify this issue in the hopes that it gets resolved sometime soon. And that is the PlayStation 5 Collector's Edition trophy bug, where essentially your save could be at 100%, but the PlayStation 5 trophy tracker still says it's at like 99 or 98%. Now, on the good note, Avalanche Software knows about this issue. If you actually go to their bug reporting website, it says as of 3:59 a.m. CDT on 5/7/2023, the investigation is still in progress for the PlayStation 5 Collections trophy tracker. The trophy tracker for the PS5 is currently bugged and no longer tracking when an item is collected in the collections menu. So as I said, I'm glad that Avalanche knows about this bug and they're fixing it, but unfortunately there is no ETA on when the fix will be deployed. I just hope that there is a little bit of urgency for Avalanche now that their big update has just been released. Next up, let's go ahead and ridiculous our way into the next big update for Hogwarts Legacy, and that is the arachnophobia mode. If you guys are like Ronald Weasley and you don't like dealing with spiders in games, and you've even actively avoided playing the game because of the spiders, well, no longer are you going to have to follow the spiders, because there has been an arachnophobia mode that was updated with the game. And if you head over to the accessibility options, when you toggle it on, the mode will change all enemy spider appearances, and it's a throwback to the books and movie when Ronald Weasley used the ridiculous spell and changed the appearance to the spider bugger into something pretty funny. It looks like a big old blob with eyeballs and roller skates for feet. So along with all of the appearance changes, they removed small spider ground effect spawners. It turns all of the static spider corpses in the world invisible. But one note that they gave on that is collision is still active to prevent players from getting stuck when toggling the setting on. And note, the spider images in the field guide page remain unchanged. Now, as for some of the additional changes that they highlight, we've got a ton more that we're going to talk about that are pretty game changing. But first and foremost, they identified and resolved multiple collections and field guide page issues. They performed multiple save game fixes, resolved multiple issues that could cause the player to fall out of the world. One of the biggest cosmetic fixes that they did: in some circumstances where you get your robe dirty, it will sometimes stay dirty. And according to the patch notes, they said that they did some laundry after students pointed out that the robes look dirty. Now we have to talk about one of the most annoying bugs that has been fixed with this update, and that is the legendary reward chest that was plaguing the game. So essentially what would happen is if your guys' cosmetic inventory was full and you went up to a legendary chest and opened it to get the reward, it would tell you that there's no place in your inventory to place the reward. You went into your cosmetic inventory to free up some space, and then you went to go open the legendary chest again, and it would say that it's locked and you couldn't open it. For the next big addition to the game, if you actually go to the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, they resolved an issue where the Windolin the Weird painting was missing the visual effects, so they added it back with this update. Now, for some of the gameplay updates that they fixed with the missions, they resolved gaps between walls being present at various locations. Now, in the final area, they fixed an issue where the mission would not progress past the defeat the enemy stage. They resolved the issue of the Hogwarts South Battle Arena not having a check mark after being completed. I know this was an issue that a lot of people in my comment section had. They fixed the issue of chests not being able to be collected in various locations. They fixed beasts in a cage not being rescued after opening the cage. There were some visible gaps on the ground at various locations in the open world that they updated. One issue that I personally had was the Grap horn disappearing during battle. Well, that issue is now resolved. They fixed the door for the headmaster's room. Next up, they resolved the issue where the player is able to return Biscuit to Garnuff even without having it. Now, I didn't think that I'd be talking about these, but there were some updates to the doors. They resolved leaving and re-entering the dungeon that may cause the doorway to become blocked. Resolved the avatar gets stuck between the wall and the spinning door. They resolved the haunted house door standing out when the player casts Revelio. Now for some general world event fixes, we've got black debug planes being visible when dancing shoes wow event triggers. We have a fix to the dancing shoes being triggered while still in the store. Sometimes whenever you interact with the ice garden for the first time, it will freeze your game. They removed ice garden world events from the game. They added a ton of updates to the NPCs, so the game should feel a lot more immersive. Next up, we have some combat updates. They resolved spiders spawned by the Acromantula keep attacking on the arena's victory screen, resolved the problem of the troll not attacking when the avatar is close to a wall, and resolved when dodging the first swing of a troll parry attack. With a blink, the second attack will teleport in front of the avatar. When dodging the first swing with a blink, the next club smashing onto the ground will be unblockable from the troll. Resolve trolls being able to dash for an excessive long distance when attacking the player after they perform a swift dodge roll. There's the issue with the forest troll disengaging from combat in a bandit camp. They resolve the river troll not attacking the avatar at a certain distance. And there's overall just a ton of updates to the trolls. There was a ton of quality of life updates to them, and I'm glad they did it because there were some annoying aspects to the trolls, even on harder difficulties, which made them super annoying to fight. There was a bunch of issues with the cinematics that they updated. Next up, we have a bunch of updates to the puzzles that we're going to go into. First off, the moth near Fig's classroom disappearing when the avatar is carrying it to the moth frame. Another fix is Lumos ignoring spinners and not attaching. Next up, they fixed Snidgets not being found if the player finishes the moonstone puzzle prior to starting the quest. They resolved low LOD on fire puzzles in Hogwarts. Resolved missing collision on the walls next to the Incendio puzzle cube. They resolved blocking the progression by placing the Accio platform in the middle of the bridge puzzle, which reset the room. There was the puzzle cube not respawning and getting stuck midair multiple times. And lastly, resolved characters disappearing during dialogues if a Merlin trial was completed just before the interaction. There was a ton of overall conversations, like general timing issues fixed, so that's always good to see. They fixed some of the pop-in and some of the clipping. Speaking of clipping, there were some general clipping instances with gear and hair combinations with some characters. Now for the avatar or the player, there is the problem of dying jumping over railing. Various locations where you'd get stuck in the game have been fixed. Resolved Loomis light passing through the headwear and illuminates the avatar's head. A ton of optimizations for removing and deleting objects at locations. They fixed the big problem of the ancient magic meter capping at 2 bars when loading a save from the main menu. There was a ton of other issues fixed with the achievements and trophies. Resolved the combat and quest challenges remaining at 99% when completed, blocking the avatar from reaching level 40 and 100% completion. There's also a bunch of other 100% completion issues. They did a bunch of updates to different spells and talents. They fixed some issues with the VFX, like the Windolin, the weird painting that we talked about earlier. And last but not least, this update contained a bunch of performance and just overall stability, quality of life improvements, which should mean that the game should overall perform better. For instance, they updated FSR to 2.2, they updated DLSS to 3.1.2, and then they updated the XESS to 1.1, and some overall optimization for ray tracing. Also, if you have not purchased Hogwarts Legacy yet, they did have an updated minimum driver recommendations for NVIDIA cards. So before you jump into the game, I recommend checking out the minimum driver recommendation for your GPU so you can have the best experience. Now, overall, this update was pretty massive. It added a bunch of needed changes to the game, provided a bunch of quality of life fixes, but that's not to say that there's still not issues with the game. There's still some bugs that definitely need worked out, like the collector's trophy bug. I genuinely believe that that should be priority number 1 for Avalanche Software. I know that they're currently hard at work on the Switch version of the game, especially now that they have the PS4 and the Xbox One copy out. Their main focus is to optimize the performance of the Switch, which I'm very curious to see how that works. The Nintendo Switch is not a very generous console whenever it comes to optimization, but regardless, that is another platform that they're going to be selling the game on. I definitely think that they should have a hot fix or something released to fix that collector's trophy bug that I know a lot of you are still having problems with. But like I said earlier, they know about the fix, so only time will tell whether or not they release a hot fix or if we have to wait until the next big game update. Moving right along to general Hogwarts Legacy news, we have some sales numbers, and my oh my, does it get you hyped for the future of this franchise. As of recording this video, Hogwarts Legacy has sold over $1 billion, and that's just with the current gen version. Obviously, PS4 and Xbox One just came out, and they still have another launch to look forward to with the Nintendo Switch, which will give them access to one of the biggest console markets out there, with over 122 million units sold on the Nintendo Switch, with many more people flocking to buy one with the release of Tears of the Kingdom. July is turning out to be the best case scenario for Hogwarts Legacy to release on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. The Hogwarts Legacy update was pretty massive. massive. Hopefully you jump into the game. If you're still on the fence of buying the PS4 version, I personally recommend it. I played it on my PS4 recently and it played really well. So if you're holding off to buy Hogwarts Legacy until you got your PS5 or your PC or your Xbox Series X, I recommend jumping into it now with the PS4 version. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.